Hi, everybody. Welcome to the beginning of week 4, end of week 3. You've just been through the chapters on Druidry, Eclectic Wicca, Heathenry, Hellenism, Chematism, Thelema. And I hope that through all that, you were able to take away some things that were useful for you for your own end of life planning. I really enjoyed working on those chapters a lot because it gave me an opportunity to talk to a lot of interesting people. Of course, Mr. John Beckett, a fabulous blogger and author, contributed some of his own thoughts about what he would want his personal funeral to be for the chapter on Druidry. So that was such a gift. It was a pleasure to work with the fantastic Leah Svensson on the chapter for Heathenry. As part of that community, she had invaluable insight and just a fun detail. Leah is also a mortician. So that's a different level of insight that she brought to the table that some of the other contributors might not have had. And she was just a treasure to work with, truly. Chematism, I think, is one of my favorite practices to talk about in terms of end of life planning and death care because their rituals are just so beautiful. Of course, I myself work with Anubis as one of my personal gods. So there are a lot of things about that practice that I incorporate into my own life and my own end of life planning. So that's pretty fantastic for me personally. I just really like talking about those. Last week's activity, I asked that you take a moment to write your own obituary. So I thought this week that I would give you guys a little something personal and read you the obituary I wrote for myself. I did this project right along with you. Maybe it'll change. Maybe between now and the time that I die, I'll have written something new or decide to let my family do their own thing. But for now, this is what I have. In loving memory of myself, I have been a person of many names, but those most dear to me were spouse to the person that I loved, mother to my children, witch, friend. Why am I writing these words? Because I don't want anyone to say that I passed on or left or transitioned anywhere. I died. I am dead. I lived a colorful life with precious few regrets, spent largely in the pursuit of knowledge. I wasn't always the easiest person to get close to, but if you managed it, I loved you with all that I was. People always said that they loved my strength, my honesty, and often those were the things that they couldn't stand most about me as well. There were so many things that I was passionate about. How could I possibly share them all? But most of all, I wanted all who knew me to feel changed for the better by us having crossed paths. Death came to be my great calling, and I didn't want anyone to approach those dread doors with trepidation. Know that if I have a single thing to say about it, I'll be waiting just on the other side of the veil, should you need me, and I'll be ready to walk with you into the darkness when your time comes. I was never one for forgiveness. If you were cruel to me in life, do not grieve me in death. For those who were a part of my journey, thank you. You always had my love. My heart spent its last moment breaking that I had to leave behind my best friend, my spouse, in this lonely world. I loved you with a desperate and fierce kind of love. It burned with such fire that I hope it keeps you warm to the end of your days. To my children, Rhiannon, Soren, and Luna, I loved you all with every ounce of my being. I will not say that I am survived by my family. I survived them. Don't spare them your tears. To them, I died a long time ago. I do, however, leave behind a sister who tried to make family with what we were given. And it meant so much that you, of all of them, took time to see me. And now comes the time for me to say my last goodbye. Death is only the end if you assume the story is about you. Make the rest of the story great, everyone. I miss you already. A private memorial service and funerary ritual will be hosted by the Coven of Leaves, downline, following a home burial. Yew and laurel trees may be sent to be planted in my memory. In lieu of greenery, acts of service may be offered to family. Light candles for them in the colors of black, white, or red. Make any offerings to the Morrigan or Anubis, both of whom I was deeply devoted to. We'll see you next week.